6 months ago, I walked into my office for the last time. Not because I was quitting, not because I was fired for poor performance, but because artificial intelligence had quietly learned to do my job better than I ever could. Today, I want to share the raw, unfiltered truth about what it's really like to lose your career to AI, and how I found my way back. The moment everything changed. I was a financial analyst for 8 years. I specialized in market research, trend analysis, and creating detailed reports for investment decisions. I was good at my job, really good. My reports were thorough, my predictions were accurate, and my clients trusted my insights. Then came the meeting. "We're implementing new AI systems," my manager announced. "They can process data faster, identify patterns we might miss, and generate reports in minutes instead of hours." At first, I wasn't worried. I thought AI would be a tool to help me work more efficiently. But within 3 months, I watched as the AI system began producing reports that were not just faster, but more comprehensive than mine. It could analyze thousands of data points simultaneously, cross-reference global market trends in real time, and present findings with a level of detail that would have taken me weeks to compile. The writing was on the wall, but I refused to read it. The emotional roller coaster. When they finally called me in for that final meeting, I felt my world collapse. It wasn't just losing a job, it was losing my identity. For nearly a decade, I had defined myself by my expertise, my analytical skills, my ability to see patterns in financial data that others couldn't. The first emotion wasn't anger, it was shame. I felt like I had failed, like I wasn't smart enough or adaptable enough. I questioned everything about my worth as a professional. Then came the fear. How do you compete with something that never sleeps, never makes mistakes, and constantly improves? I spent countless nights scrolling through job boards, seeing similar roles, either eliminated or transformed beyond recognition. The isolation was perhaps the hardest part. Friends and family tried to be supportive, but most couldn't truly understand what it felt like to be replaced by an algorithm. Some suggested I was being dramatic, that I should just learn to use AI tools. As if it were that simple. Depression crept in slowly. Days blended together, as I sent out applications to roles that seemed increasingly irrelevant. I started doubting not just my career choices, but my fundamental value as a human being in a world that seemed to prize efficiency over everything else. The turning point. The breakthrough came during a conversation with my neighbor, Maria, who had been a photographer for 30 years. She told me about how digital photography had transformed her industry, forcing her to completely reinvent her approach. "The camera didn't make me obsolete," she said. "It forced me to discover what only I could bring to the art of capturing moments." That night, I made a list of everything I had learned during my years as an analyst. That went beyond just crunching numbers. I had developed skills in client communication, storytelling with data, understanding the human psychology behind market movements, and translating complex information into actionable insights. I realized that while AI could process data, it couldn't understand the human context behind the numbers. It couldn't sit across from a worried business owner and explain not just what the data meant, but why it mattered to their specific situation. The rebuild. I decided to pivot toward consulting, focusing on helping small businesses understand and implement AI tools rather than competing with them. I spent 3 months learning about different AI platforms, not to replace my analytical skills, but to complement them. The transition wasn't easy. I had to rebuild my confidence, learn new technologies, and completely reshape my professional identity. There were moments of doubt, failed pitches, and financial stress that tested my resolve. But something interesting happened. By working alongside AI instead of against it, I discovered capabilities I never knew I had. I became a translator between human needs and technological solutions. I learned to ask better questions, to focus on problems that required empathy and creativity to solve. My first client was a local restaurant owner who was overwhelmed by all the AI marketing tools available. I helped him understand which tools actually made sense for his business and how to implement them without losing the personal touch that made his restaurant special. The lessons learned. This experience taught me that the question isn't whether AI will change our careers. It's how we choose to evolve alongside it. The skills that make us uniquely human: creativity, emotional intelligence, ethical reasoning, and the ability to connect with others, become more valuable, not less. I learned that resilience isn't about bouncing back to where you were before. It's about bouncing forward to somewhere new and potentially better. Most importantly, I discovered that our worth isn't defined by our job titles or our ability to outperform machines. It's defined by our capacity to adapt, to learn, and to bring uniquely human perspectives to the challenges we face. Moving forward, today, I work with businesses and individuals who are navigating their own AI transitions. I help them identify which tasks to automate and which to keep human. I've found purpose in being a bridge between technological capability and human need. The irony isn't lost on me. Losing my job to AI led me to a career helping others work with AI. Sometimes the detour becomes the destination. Closing message. If you're facing your own AI disruption, know that you're not alone, and you're not obsolete. The future belongs to those who can adapt, who can find the intersection between technological capability and human wisdom. Start by taking inventory of your uniquely human skills. What do you bring to your work that requires empathy, creativity, or complex problem solving? How can you use AI as a tool rather than see it as a threat? The career landscape is changing rapidly, but that change also creates new opportunities for those willing to evolve. Your next chapter might be completely different from what you planned, but it could also be more fulfilling than anything you've imagined. Don't wait for the perfect moment to start adapting. The time is now. If this story resonated with you, I'd love to hear about your own experiences navigating career changes in the age of AI. Consider hitting that like button and subscribing to KB Bluetree for more real stories about finding purpose and resilience in our rapidly changing world. Together, we can turn disruption into opportunity.